we are just returning from the largest EdTech conference in North America, and boy, do we have a lot to unpack for you in this episode. We have some great interviews we'll dive into and hear about the latest from companies like Google and all their teacher tools. We'll hear about Canva's hot off the presses brand new teacher tools and a couple other gems, including Rocket Drones, which is a very cool career-oriented drone company doing some awesome things. Socrait, there's a hidden gem. VibeGrade, company to watch, and of course, one of my favorites, Jamf.
And welcome to the EdTechUnpacked podcast, where we inspire and equip educators to create meaningful learning experiences, highlighting a thoughtful approach to the integration of technology. I'm Desmond Suarez.
And I'm Aaron Long, and we're passionate about helping educators learn how to better use technology to engage their students. So Desmond, hey, let's get right to it. For the teachers out there who've never been to ISTE, maybe never been to an EdTech conference, share a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, so I went to my first EdTech conference, I guess, back in 2013, I think. So it's been a minute, and it was FETC, and man, you know, have they changed and not changed at the same time? It was large and overwhelming and exciting because there were so many new things to learn. The conversation was totally different. And that's what we'll talk about later in the episode. But that's what I love maybe the most is like figuring out what is everyone talking about. And at that time it was, should you go one-to-one? And as far as devices go, and man, has it changed. How about you? What was your first one, and what are similar and what is different?
Man, so I was doing the math in my head because honestly, I remember my first EdTech conference, but I couldn't remember the year. I'm doing the math. I think it was 2010. Okay, so my wife and I went to a conference out in Tennessee. At that time, there was an organization, I don't even know if they still exist, called the Coalition of Lighthouse Schools. And what they did was very specific to helping schools become one-to-one. And so that was my interest at the time. I was teaching in a small school setting up in Prescott, Arizona at the Prescott Seventh-day Adventist school there. Multi-grade, really neat little school that's grown a lot in the recent years. And we had a burden to bring a one-to-one program to our small school. So really cool thing. They scholarshiped us, paid for the whole experience. And so we were super blessed to go attend that conference, and it just sparked my interest for one-to-one programs, which still exist. So super neat. This one, in terms of scale, I mean, if you haven't been, ISTE's massive. I think the number's around 17,000 teachers and participants in that conference. And man, Desmond's right. It can be really overwhelming. Listen, if you haven't watched part one of our covering ISTE, go back and watch that episode. We'll link to it in the show notes. And so take a look at that. We interviewed 19 different companies that we cherry-picked, okay? And here's the thing about that episode and this one. Our goal going into ISTE was, between Desmond and I, we said, listen, what can we do to help teachers out there that can't attend or that maybe want to just grab the highlights? Maybe you were there and you didn't get to spend enough time in Expo Hall. We walked that whole, I mean, what did it take us, Desmond? Probably 2 to 3 hours just to walk through it once.
So long, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of companies. And we literally looked at every single booth before we shot a thing. And our goal was to say, all right, out of all of these companies, what do we feel like needs to be shared with the classroom teachers out there? So episode 1, we covered 19 different of those companies. In this episode, we'll talk in a minute here about who we're going to cover, and we'll jump to those interviews. So this episode is going to be full of great content you're not going to want to miss. But back to my experience, making connections, some of you watching this, hopefully. We met at the convention, made some great connections. It's inspiring. It is uplifting in an interesting way. It's encouraging. But most of all, it's educational. Whether you're in deep in EdTech or you're just starting to learn, there's something there for everybody. So for me, it's super enriching.
And I just want to say, so we're, as Aaron said, we're trying to give you the feel of what it was like to go to one of these conventions. If you watch our last episode, you'll see us going down the escalator, and really that's less than half of the hall that you see. It's massive. But that's just the expo hall. We did not cover the sessions, and there's a bunch of sessions, so many sessions. They really become overwhelming looking through the list. That was not our purpose on this event, but I encourage you, if you're a teacher attending, look through the sessions. You won't be able to attend all of them. Find the ones and spend some time in the expo hall as well. Decide the purpose of why you're going. I think it's good to say I want to know more about how to apply AI in my classroom, or I want to know more about how to use Google tools, or even being more methodology focused of I want to know how to use technology for small groups to enhance small groups. But choose a highlight. If you can go with a group, that's even more important. And so we want to either, for this, we want to show you what it's like. And maybe you decide this is all you want to do. Maybe you get an opportunity to go to a future convention. If so, look us up. We're going to try to go to a lot more. And this is just a taste of part of the expo, not the whole thing.
All right, so Desmond, a key part of the taste of the expo hall is giveaways, right? So, I mean, you have some teachers that are there literally just for the giveaways. By the way, we learned something. I did, all right? When ISTE's in town, if you're nearby, guess what? You can register to go to Expo Hall for free. I had no idea. So my wife, my lovely wife, Carrie Long, was with me, and she actually helped be our camera lady for a little bit on this. Thanks, Carrie. And so she was there kind of meeting and really doing the giveaway thing. She got a lot of freebies. I mean, she really crushed it on the freebies. I mean, everything from custom-made fanny packs, which is kind of her thing, custom hat. I mean, everything in that hall was all about having fun, but also a lot of these companies just want exposure, so they're giving things away. So I have a few of those here, Desmond. I don't know if you can see this here, but Rocket Drones, who we're going to highlight in a minute, this was just... So I guess we should say something real quick, shouldn't we, Desmond?
Disclosure? I don't know.
Yes, our only sponsor of the show is the Adventist Learning Community ALC.
And we love you, ALC.
Yes, thank you. They produce us. They edit our episodes. Thank you, Katrina, for that. We're going to shout our editor out on this episode because she's amazing. And they do a great job of allowing us to simply evaluate classroom technology and give our honest takes. And really do it in a way that we hope brings context to the technology. That's really at the heart of what we want to do. So anything I'm sharing here today, any of the companies we highlight, they're literally just because we think they might bring you value. All right. So having said that,
and they're not all, I just want to say as well, we walked by so many booths where we need to talk to them, and we just ran out of time. And also, we plan on going to more expos, so we wanted to not do comprehensive of all of them. So there are so many amazing companies out there that we just didn't get the opportunity to talk to. In future episodes, we'll talk to them, and we'll also do checkups on some of the ones we talked to for this one.
And I'll also say, as Desmond and I were walking around filming, interviewing, there were a lot of giveaways we wanted. Hey, we could use that, or that's really cool. But listen, we were actually there for you guys, and so we came away with very little ourselves. These are just a few things I got, and I didn't get much else, all right? But thank you, Brandon, with Rocket Drones. Really cool freebies here. This one was like a practice reaction time kind of training device and a little Frisbee type of, what do you call this? It's a drone.
Little pocket kind of drone thing. My kids have been playing with those.
I got a pouch of coffee. I think Desmond got one of these as well from Wayground. Wayground, we love this. Okay, a lot of us teachers are coffee aficionados. Hey, if it's not too much to ask, maybe next time if we can have the beans instead of the grounds so we can grind them fresh, but not complaining. Yeah. And then Jamf, we're going to highlight them on this episode as well. They were out of these, and they kind of reached back and got me one because I love cable management. So thank you, Jamf, for that. So lots of great stuff there. Hey, the vibe is something we wanted to bring to you today. That's why I'm wearing my conference lanyard, and it's all good, man. We're wearing our conference T-shirts that we wore as we interviewed for this conference. So Desmond said it. We hope to connect with you down the line. We're hoping to be at FETC this year, and more on that later if we're going to make it out there. But Desmond, listen, we've already kind of talked a bit here, so we need to dive into our content today. Is it time to unpack the tech?
Let's unpack the tech.
Let's unpack the tech. All right, as we're diving in, listen, we want to remind you about one really important thing. If you like this content, if you want to support what we're doing here, we just ask that you subscribe. Click the button down below. Make sure to turn on those notifications to get alerted whenever we drop new content. And with that, let's get to our first interview. One of my faves, you guys know this. We've had whole episodes on them. Canva. Let's get to that interview now. All right, this is a big one for me personally. All right, Desmond knows this. All right, so we're here with Lena, a product educator with Canva, okay? Those of you that watch the podcast know how much I love Canva. Lena doesn't know yet, okay? So I'm gonna show you something I have done in Canva, okay? And this doesn't include all of our live stream events where we've used Canva as our green screen graphics live. Really cool stuff, all right? So this year, we needed some new bus graphics. And so this is all done in Canva.
Just, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Okay. So let's just see let's see how good these creations are, okay?
I mocked up in Canva, okay, what I thought looked like a decent bus design, some splashy graphics for the school where I'm an administrator. And we sent them to the bus company. And I said, take these, clean them up, make them better. And guess what happened? They said, these are so good. Okay, we're gonna just put these on the bus. And so the bus that came, now we have 4 of these, okay, is literally all the graphics done straight out of Canva. Have you ever seen somebody do their bus graphics in Canva before?
You're gonna be surprised to hear this, but yes.
Oh, shoot, I thought I was gonna be the first, all right. Well, I have nothing to offer then, okay? Other than we're here to learn, all right? So now that I know I'm not the first one to do bus graphics.
No, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
All right, I am crushed. Okay.
I know I just crushed your soul, I can tell. Sorry.
It's all good, it's all good. But that just shows how versatile of a platform it is, right? You can do so much. Tell us about some of the things to you that classroom teachers out there need to know about, including some of the upcoming tools that are being released.
Sure. So obviously if you're not using Canva and you're an educator, you're just missing out. This is what I can say as a former educator, not just as Canva. But there's lots of ability. I think creativity is at the heart of everything that we do. But we launched 2 products, I would say, that are probably going to be most revolutionary to classroom teachers, and that's Canva Code. And Canva Code is the ability for non-coding teachers, so most everyone, to be able to create things that they want to be able to use. So maybe you want a timer, maybe you want a spinner, or maybe you want to get a little bit more detailed and create a simulation on solid liquids and gases and how that looks and what the molecules look like. Maybe you want a matching activity, or maybe you want an interactive timeline. So you can craft things that are personalized and individualized to your students without ever having to write a single line of code, which I think is pretty great.
That's awesome. I haven't used it yet. We heard a little bit about it yesterday, so I'm excited myself to get in and play with it. Is this something that's available right now, or is it coming up?
Nope, it's available. It launched at Canva Create for everybody. Right around May when we launched all of the features. And if you're not seeing it in your account, it's possible that your district administrator hasn't turned it on. So make sure that they do and have turned on all of the AI tools for you to be able to use. Something that I'm just going to mention that we didn't talk about, not product-wise, but we just changed our AI privacy policy for students to be able to, now all students can use our AI tools.
This is big. Can you summarize what changed about the policy that opened that up?
After heavy legal review and lots of practice using it with students, we just felt now really comfortable to be able to release the tools, and felt like they were safe enough for students to be using.
All right, very good. So that's Canva Code, right? Okay, so we're hearing about something else that's being released more like now. It's in beta or what?
Okay. Yeah, it's in beta right now.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have a new thing launching really for back to school for teachers, and it's called Magic Activities. It's based on those higher order thinking skills. So let's say it's more about the application, not the teaching of the knowledge, but the application for students to learn. So there's usually 3 activities that are created in either a whiteboard or a doc. And it usually has some sort of like proof, like show me what you know, learning, maybe some like argumentative like practice piece. And then the last piece is the creativity tool. So it could be like create a podcast or create a menu or create a thumbnail, just some way that students are being able to bring creativity into the learning, which is the most important part to actually showcase learning, right?
That's all. So we have Canva Code, Canva Magic Activities, right? So how do teachers, or when do teachers get access to Magic Activities?
Hopefully, Magic Activities will be live in our back to school campaign, which is usually mid-July to end of July. The Magic Activities should be released. Today we're just practicing and launching with teachers and getting a ton of feedback to make sure it's the best use cases for educators to use in their classrooms.
Okay, awesome. So we also know, you mentioned a few things a few minutes ago that teachers don't always, maybe things we need to highlight, that if you're not using it right now, they should. So what would those things be to you?
Yeah, I would say I'm just going to do two, I think, just in the interest of time. The first one is transform to doc. So if you have a presentation or some sort of content that you've created, you can go up to the resize button and you can transform your content into a doc. So I usually say for teachers, if you're creating something, you can give it a prompt like create talking points for parents to engage their students about what they've learned, and it will craft something to talk about what the students have learned, and have those like conversations to engage parents, because we all know parents are the most important stakeholders in the student's education. And then the other thing would be sheets. As educators, there is bulk create in sheets now, so you can quickly create a mass list of exit tickets, or maybe you want bell ringers, or you just want to personalize the learning for your students. You can actually add everything that you want in there, and it will populate designs based on that.
So that's what's here and what's coming. Is there anything else that maybe is coming but hasn't really been out there yet that you would just love to share with us?
Not at this time that I can share with you.
It was worth a shot. It's okay.
Good try.
It's all good. So we're looking forward to having an ambassador on from Canva to an upcoming episode. So look for that. Lena, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great talking with you guys.
Wow. Okay, so Lena put it to me. All right. Now, Desmond and I
you
were
didn't
talking
see me.
later.
I was laughing behind the camera at him.
Well, I was laughing at myself, obviously. But listen, I told Desmond later, I said, well, you know what we need to do is go back and get some more intel from Lena. So, Lena, we'd like to know when did this other school, do their bus graphics? I still might have been the first to ever do bus graphics. Get over this. So, anyway, I'm just saying we have to leave that hanging there a little bit. But listen, loved hearing about Canva Code, Magic Activities. Wow. I mean, my head spins when I, tune into Canva and all they have going on, because they're just developing at such a rapid pace for teachers. So listen, here's your opportunity. If you haven't watched our full episode that was basically all about all things Canva, check that out. We'll link to it as well. But hey, better yet, sign up if you haven't. If you are signed up, log in, check out all the new tools. It's going to help you in your classroom, I have no doubt.
Before I introduce the next company, I just want to say the naming of these products is really fascinating me. So Google has their own product that is similar to Canva Code, but they call it Canvas. And we demoed it in an earlier episode. So I'm excited to, in my classroom, to try both and see how they compare and see how they go head to head. Maybe we need to do a head to head just on those products. And then also the Magic Activities I talked about.
I knew you were going to mention this one.
Sounds a little like Magic School.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the Magic Activities. I don't. It's still coming out. I guess it's available, but it's still kind of early. So I'm excited to put all those products head to head, and we've found that we enjoy doing head to heads here. So the rocket drones, I have to get a little introduction. You guys know we're still pretty new in the EdTech podcasting realm. When we went, we got to meet a lot of great other EdTech podcasters, and it was just really cool coming on to interacting with all of them. But it really took us by surprise when we had Brandon from Rocket Drone walk up to us and say, "Hey, I know you guys. You're EdTechUnpacked," and we kind of kindly nodded, not really believing that he recognized us. And so we want to shout out Brandon as being the first one outside of the Adventist circles to recognize us in public. And we came back, and we just really enjoyed talking to Brandon, for one. But Rocket Drones was a company that kind of surprised us. So we're going to play that now.
All right, so I'm here with Brandon from Rocket Drones. Super cool company here. Very different than probably what you've been used to with drone companies out there in the education space. So we're going to have Brandon one of the co-founders, talk a little bit about what they do and who their audience is. So tell us a little bit about you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. So Rocket Drones is an industry-owned drone education company. When it comes to hiring, it's difficult to find properly trained pilots. So industry came together. We use our on-the-job training and what we need our employees to know. Got a bunch of teachers from around the country and modified it for education. So now everything we need our future employees to know is built into grades 3 through 12.
So I'm going to tag on a little bit to this because we were just talking a minute ago and some numbers stood out to me, okay? Senior year graduates who go through this program can graduate if they obtain the certifications, and that starting salary can be around $65,000.
$65,000 for a graduating senior.
That's amazing to me. I mean, so the focus here is giving a competency where there's a passion and hopefully a skill set, and then giving them the opportunity, students the opportunity to go out there straight out of senior year, have a solid income doing something they love. I think that's super cool. And they're flying drones of what sort of value here? That number stood out to me.
So when you move into the commercial world, we start as low as $3,000, but your average commercial aircraft, $100,000, $200,000. Plus we put your LiDAR and your payloads underneath it. That's where it gets real expensive. So that's where our word is trust. I need to trust you can take manual control of my aircraft.
That's amazing. Hey, check out Rocket Drones, teachers out there, STEM coordinators, super niche thing, super neat thing you guys are doing. So check them out.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
So that was really cool. And I loved Brandon's approach of their company where they were, for the industry. They were, outside of education. They couldn't get enough people. And so if you can't get enough people to work for you, you got to go train them. And I love companies that are going that approach. And it's so practical. And Brandon and the whole team just has such a passion to engage students and to connect them with this industry. And I love industry products that enter the classroom in such a meaningful way. So thank you, Brandon.
I'll tag on there, Brandon. Thanks for all you're doing, man. We loved your passion. You're a neat guy. Everybody that works with you is blessed. So keep up the great work, and we'll look forward to connecting more down the line with you. All right, hey, next up, Socrait. Listen, this is a gem. I think this is a hidden gem. It's kind of a company to watch, but it's really, it has such promise in my mind because they're doing something so special and so unique. Without talking too much about it, because you're going to see that in the interview, let's cut to the interview now.
So I'm here at Socrait with Maria Anderson, and they have a really cool AI teacher advisory recommendation, make sure you're saying good things to your students tool, but I'm going to let her tell and explain a little more about it.
So we have an AI assistant for the classroom that listens to what you say the way you normally talk and pulls all the data out of it so you no longer have to remember it. Not only do we grab the data, your praises, your warnings, your changes to assignments, we do it all for you. But at the end of class, you can go and see summaries of these things, and more importantly, you can take actions. We will write you an email to a parent about that kid's behavior in 8th period that you might not remember it, especially with 2nd period, but we'll remember it for you. So all of the context around your praises and warnings, you can actually start sending praise emails now because you'll remember what they are. But also just all of the strange things you say in class that you need to remember at the end of the day and you don't. Well, we got your back. We got all that data for you. You can just rest your brain, teach your class, smile more, have less stress. That's what we do.
And I think it's really cool. She's both currently a teacher and the CEO of the company. And this sounds like a great product I'm excited to try out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, wow. Hey, I hope that you're thinking about all those applications that might exist for you in your classroom at Socrait. But listen, we also want to shout out EdTech guys. Listen, they have an awesome audio podcast that they've been producing for something like 8 years now, if I remember correctly. Huge fan base because they bring really high quality content. So they're the ones that said, if you haven't seen Socrait yet, you got to go check them out. And so thank you for that lead because we did. And we went and had a great interview, learned a lot off camera. So I just wanted to share this. We talked a bit with the founder there, who is still an active teacher, which I just think is so cool that she's in the classroom. And this is her second startup company. Wow, that's inspirational. And Dr. Maria H. Anderson was sharing with us kind of calming our fears a bit. So I told her, I said, hey, listen, as Desmond and I were walking over here for this interview, we were talking about the things that could go right with a product like this and the things that could go wrong. And I said, listen, the things that could go wrong would be things like administrators getting a hold of something like this and using it in either negative or disciplinary ways towards teachers. And what she told me was, so thank you for this. She said, well, I have a line in the sand, and this tool is not built for that. So the way it is structured doesn't allow for that. Okay, so we haven't got our hands on it, played around with it to see on the back end how that line in the sand is drawn. But straight from her, she's very focused on this has to be a tool for classroom teachers to self-reflect and improve their interactions with students. And that's the heart and soul of this. So everything they're building, that's the focus. That's why we're including them on this episode. And I was super inspired by them. So thank you, Socrait, and all that you're doing.
I just want to follow up with a little of that because, my initial reactions to Socrait were skeptical. And I think rightfully so, because, as a teacher being monitored, it can be a little intimidating. I have to say most of my teaching has been recorded over Zoom or similar products. And so I faced that kind of early in my career, and I ended up finding confidence in that because I was like, well, I'm a professional. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm okay. But I think that it could easily get out of hand. And there were other products. I want to say, I think part of our philosophy, and we really, I feel like this was kind of the theme, one of the themes in ISTE, is that technology this year, not always, technology shouldn't get in your way. And it's very easy for a technology like this to get in your way. And I haven't tried Socrait. I think it still could, but I think that they're trying to not let it get in your way. So I'm not going to say the name, but we did see another product. It was a similar approach, but more comprehensive, did a lot more. It had a camera and a screen and a speaker, and I'm not going to say too much, but I just want to contrast it. I'm bringing that up because I want to contrast it when I heard about that, and we didn't interview them, but I talked to them. It felt very overwhelming and dystopian. And that is something that I really want to avoid in EdTech products. It felt like it was trying to dominate the conversation in the classroom. That was my impression. I have not tried either product, but I did really appreciate the slim downness, the narrow, I guess, approach that Socrait took, intentionality. I think a product being designed by a classroom teacher goes so far. Not just hearing from teachers, but being led by a classroom teacher. I think it was really cool. So I want to, it's kind of a weird transition here because this next product is one, and most of the products we've used or we're talking about today, we have not tried at least the new updates to them. We use a lot of Canva, but we haven't tried the new tools because they just came out. We just talked to them. But this next one is kind of an interesting one to watch. It's a new company, a young company. Both their founders are young, and it's a new company. But it was really interesting to talk to them, and that's VibeGrade. So we'll let them tell you a little bit about it. All right, I am here with Daniel at VibeGrade, and they've got a really cool program to help save teachers time. But I'm going to let him tell a little bit more about the company and what it's doing for teachers.
Yeah. So I started out back in grade 10. I saw my teachers really struggling to grade papers, particularly one day. My teacher had a massive stack of 60 papers to grade in just one day.
I know that story.
Yeah, it made me realize, we have Scantron for multiple choice. Why don't we help teachers grade written work as well? And so we built a product, a Chrome extension that's super easy to add, and it adds comments and a full grade breakdown right inside their document. And so it works in Canvas, inside Google Docs, Toddle, all the major learning management systems as well. And so teachers don't have to go back and forth between one platform, learn how to use a new tool. They're already juggling 140 different tools. So we built a product that works just in their learning management system, and so they don't have to go copying and pasting things from ChatGPT or from a different tool. So teachers really love it for the grading part, but they really want, teachers, you don't want to juggle a bunch of tools. You want to create resources and worksheets and lesson plans every single day for your students. So we're expanding to VibeTeach, where now you're able to create a lesson plan, a worksheet, a quiz for your students, all based off of any article or resource that you find online, a YouTube video, right inside of your Google Docs, and you can style them beautifully and create it with nice colors and titles and fonts, just like in a single click or by speaking to our AI.
That sounds awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm excited to check out the product.
Thank you so much.
Now, reflecting on VibeGrade, I think it's really interesting. I have to say, of all the problems that I hope AI to solve, helping me give or spend less time grading so that I can engage with the students more. Because I'll be honest, grading is one of my least favorite parts of teaching. It's teacher guilt I carry there. But also so that I can give more instant feedback to my students is something that I'm really interested in. I hope that the lazy side of me doesn't use that as a way not to engage in my students' content. And it was less about the product and more about my laziness that I was worried about as I saw that. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that, but I'm really excited to follow VibeGrade. I'm going to try it out where I can, and I'm curious to see how it evolves as well.
You know, this literally just hit me, Desmond. So I'm thinking about what VibeGrade and a lot of these other companies are doing that have these auto grade features. I mean, the nature of grading is what? That we as teachers are correcting mistakes by teachers, right? That's what kind of the heart and soul of what grading is. You elevate that. Well, yes, you're giving guidance. You're helping students kind of think through things. But at the core, you're really marking up stuff that's wrong. Hey, in the age of AI, will grading even be a thing here in a couple years? Because it's like a really well-built tool should be able to auto-grade, whether that's math or written language. So it'll be interesting to see how this area develops. But wow, could be a huge blessing for teachers down the line once this type of product is developed.
I think what I want this product to do, and again, I haven't tried it out yet, and I think they're kind of thinking this way, but instead of completely just auto-grade done for me, instant, I want it to direct me as a teacher to the parts, suggest, but also direct me like, hey, this student is struggling here. Pay attention to that. And not just like I don't know how to exactly design it. I'm not designing this, but I want it to be able to more quickly and effectively engage me as the teacher in the parts that I need to address with my students. Engaging, so then the student and the teacher are able to have a more complete conversation around what they're learning. And I think that's what I want.
So we could probably go on and on about that one, but we got to keep this moving here. So we're going to go to our next interview here. Honestly, schools out there that aren't using a product to manage your devices, that don't just do that from afar from the IT director perspective, but that do it from the teacher side and give you as the teacher tools to control your own classroom, you're kind of missing out, okay? So this is kind of an awareness interview and also a call to action. Let's hear from Jamf. Let's run that interview. All right, so we're here with Matt, the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Jamf. If you don't know much about Jamf, they basically do management for all things Apple devices, okay? So if you've had a managed device, whether that's an iPad in the classroom for your students or even on the teacher side, good chance they're the software behind it, whether you knew that or not. So what we'd like to do is hear a little bit from Matt on, what do classroom teachers need to be aware of and maybe even be thinking about that you guys do for them. So tell us a little bit about what a classroom teacher should know and be aware of.
Yeah, I think so. One of the main things that we talk about is teacher confidence in the classroom. And huge thing around like return on investment of using devices is making sure teachers use the device for the student outcomes and not just because the lesson might lend itself to digital use. So really thinking about like accessibility and students having access to do things in a way that works right for them. I think what comes with that is a lot of the fear factor of teachers not wanting to lose control of their class. They don't know if students are opening the right apps or the wrong apps, etc. So one of the things that we really focus on at Jamf is we take the IT management into the classroom to give teachers that level of control. So Jamf Teacher, which is the tool that we really advocate for a lot, gives teachers the ability to strip down a student device to only have on it the apps that are functional for that lesson. So you'll remove any chance of a distraction. So really, really good for combating teacher lack of confidence and students' ability to maybe try and find something they shouldn't be doing in the middle of a lesson. So technology just becomes a learning and teaching tool and not a technology tool. So really, really big thing.
What I love, it's really a layered approach to IT, right? So you have your IT director and then you have your teachers playing a central role in that IT management piece. So I'll just mention, if your iPads are being managed and you're an iPad school and you don't know about the software managing it, ask your IT directors, hey, are we using Jamf? And here's why. If you're using Jamf and you're not using the teacher piece, you should be. It gives you so much control. I've been I think a super user in the past when I was in the classroom, and I loved having different profiles I could deploy based on the student groups. So I might have my students I trust more, and they're one profile, and my students who've been in trouble with not being able to focus well, and so they've been off task, they're in a whole different profile that I as the teacher control. That's what Jamf gives you as a classroom teacher, is that kind of layered control for student groups, in addition to what Apple Classroom provides as well. So anything else to add that you think classroom teachers need to know?
I think just making sure that they don't focus on any classroom teacher having to be an IT professional. I think that's the critical thing to what you said, right? IT will take care of how it's set up and how it works. But that's not to say that the classroom teacher shouldn't have some control over it, the same as they have control over the pens, the paper, the paintbrushes, all of those other things, They're just tools in the classroom. You should have the control of them. I think the one thing I'll add, though, is like when those devices go home, Jamf Parent also does the same thing, so to give parents that control. So if you are in an environment with a one-to-one deployment, devices that go home that are managed by the school, they can feel like they're a bit of a Trojan horse getting into the home, right? Because now parents don't have control over what is or isn't on those devices. So with Jamf Parent, you can do the same thing. You can give parents that control to be able to remove apps from the device or say which websites they can or cannot use. And again, that gives confidence to parents to get behind a device deployment strategy from the school, because it's not something which is against, a parental approach to how often devices are used.
It's a team, right? And I actually totally forgot, and that's what we had talked about a little bit ago, is one of the things I love about Jamf is this completing the circle picture of school and home, co-managing the device. Parents do love that ability, so if you're an iPad school using Jamf and you're not using the parent piece, again, talk to your IT director about that. You should be using it and offering it to parents. Thank you so much, Matt, for your time.
No problem.
This has been great. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, so you heard a little bit about Jamf from Matt. Matt was awesome. Okay, what a great interview from across the pond. And so thank you for coming over to ISTE, Matt, and your team. We personally, here at Burton Adventist Academy, use Jamf. And so it's a product I have a long history personally with, both on the admin side and on the teacher side. But listen, today it's about the teacher tools. Their teacher tools, their parent tools are really second to none. Your ability to control devices, yes, it is iPads only, but you're going to hear a little bit about in our Google interview something that's really similar coming to the Google ecosystem for teachers. But on the iPad side, I haven't seen anything that I feel like is a better product that's more simple to use and that works alongside Apple's ecosystem and Apple Classroom and what they offer teachers already. So it kind of layers on top of that with the profiles. Man, I'm a huge fan because we've used it. And guess what? Something else, Desmond, you know this, but a lot of teachers in smaller schools out there may not. They don't have a minimum license requirement for small schools. Okay, it's a per student licensing fee that's super affordable. And there's no minimum. So that's what brought me to them years ago, that attracted me to them. And if you're not with them and you're an iPad school, you should check them out.
Yeah. And now going on to what we were really excited about. Oh, I mean, we're excited about all these, but we, on Tuesday, so the conference goes Sunday, and it really does start on Sunday, Sunday through Wednesday. And so on Tuesday, we went and did the Google experience. And Google does this at all these conventions where they have a booth on the floor, but then also in one of the rooms, they take you through, they put Chromebooks in front of you. You have to wait in line to get in, and they take you through some of the new new features. And so we sat through that and we're really excited about it. And I talked to the people there, and they were able to connect us with Mateos, who gave us an interview about some of the new features that Google Education is rolling out right now, and they're pretty cool. So let's take a look. All right, we are here with Mateos from Forward Edge, which is a Google PD partner, and they did trainings here this week. We sat right here earlier this week and heard about some of the new things that Google Education has announced just really recently, this week, right?
Yeah,
Last week?
absolutely. All these things came out this week.
That's really cool. And so he's here, he's agreed to tell us about some of the new things they've done.
Yeah, so glad to speak to you all and show you a little bit about what Google has in store for the teachers in the future. But all of the things that I'm going to talk about today are already available and they're free. So the big things that really stand out, the biggest one to me is Class Tools. Class Tools is a great tool for teachers to really take charge of their classrooms and focus their students. You'll be able to pull your class rosters in, and every Chromebook device will be then able to be either put in Explore mode, where students can go through their computer as they normally would, or you can put them in focus mode where you pretty much lock them down to only the websites that you want to have them access to. And then in focus mode, you can also switch to lock mode. That will actually lock the devices. That's usually the moment when you're the teacher and you're like, hey, eyes on me, and you can lock it down and you will get everybody's attention.
Which is really important. Even when it's not enabled, being able to enable it will keep the students more engaged,
Yes.
knowing that it's possible you can just click a button and they're done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also share the screen of another student so you can actually look into what they're doing. And yeah, it's a lot of really good features to control the classroom a little bit more from their perspective.
The caveat being, right, we were just discussing this. Caveat is, this is only for Chromebook schools. Sorry, iPad schools and other schools. Class Tools doesn't deploy to other devices other than Chromebook.
Correct, yes. Both the teacher and the students have to be on Chromebook devices, and teachers either on Chromebook or Chromebook Plus devices, yes. Excellent. Another big thing that we like to highlight is the new features inside of Google Classroom. So you'll be able to have all of these prepared little tools that build rubrics, questions based off of texts, or maybe even entire lesson plans with quizzes, all integrated into Google Classroom that you can, as a teacher, jump in and really create out and build out your features as you need and material as needed.
And that's powered by Gemini, is that correct?
That's powered by Gemini. There are some that are actually creating full-on like quizzes and Google Forms and post them for you. And then there are others that you can click on. Those are starting conversations with Gemini, and you can start talking about the details and really have the conversation going and have a good flow.
And now Gemini and Notebook LM are available for students when schools enable it.
That is correct. For students over the age of 13 and under the age of 18, Gemini is available for them, and Gemini for teachers is also available. They're slightly different, right? The student version, there are some more restrictions, a lot more guardrails, more double checking on factual information, of course, and they can't generate images for that matter. They can generate visualizations to like help them study, but nothing in terms of creating human beings and things like that. And they can also upload pictures of, for example, their notes, and Gemini can read them and help them work through that as well. So a very, very like student-centered way to get this out. And again, that is completely free. All you have to do is ask your IT to turn it on.
Now, it's not new now, but released in the last couple of months, is the Canvas feature. Is that that's available to students in the free?
No, that's actually not available for students. It is only available for teachers. And you picking my favorite tool out. That is actually what I'm the most excited
I demoed it on a podcast the other day.
Oh, awesome. I just think the ability to really build your own software, like make apps. I don't know how often I found myself trying to find a simulation or like go to find something that really like visualizes something or a little activity that I want to build, but it doesn't exist. Now, as long as I can describe it with Canvas, it'll build it for me, and I can share it with my students and have them interact with it. So think about like drag and drop games or simulations that show like the difference between velocity and motion, like that. That's just super cool. I've had some really cool conversations with teachers this time.
I'm really excited to try that out more and implement it in my classroom. I've just been playing around with it. And so it seems to be really great for practice and for preparing students.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually most of the really cool, exciting tools I want to show you. Again, Notebook LM will be available for students as well. That is a big feature.
That's one.
Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. That's one that I was really, every time I use Notebook LM, I'm like, man, I wish my students had access to this. And for those that haven't tried it yet, Notebook LM allows you to upload up to 50 documents.
Yes, in the free version, in the basic version, you can upload up to 50 sources. If you get into the pro version, then you can upload up to 200 sources.
That's awesome. And usually I just upload a couple because the beauty of Notebook LM is that you can constrain it.
Yes.
And I think that's really powerful for AI is it's not pulling from everywhere. It's pulling from the sources you tell it to, which is really powerful for the classroom because you don't want your students getting answers from anything and everything.
Exactly right, because if a student goes online and tries to find an answer, I mean, there's a lot of things they can find, but if I want them to really find what we've done in class, Notebook LM is a fantastic resource for that.
So part of the experience we had here was seeing the integration with Gmail as well. I don't know if you want to just mention real quick what tools will be integrated there, because from a teacher workflow standpoint, I was like, this is really cool.
Yes, it's actually an additional license, the Gemini workspace license to add to your accounts. But when you have it, Gemini pretty much exists in all of the core services. So you can use it in Google Drive to collect the tools or the materials that you have and find everything for a certain topic. You can even cross-reference files. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the integration in Gmail. I'm like, I don't really, I get a little nervous sometimes. The first sentence of an email is always terrifying, and after that, I'm good. But with Gemini, it actually can give me an entire draft, and then I can fine-tune it, make it really sound like me again. It's really just, for me, it's the first line. If I get the first line, I've been able to send so many more emails on time, much, much quicker thanks to that.
That's really cool. And one other question about specifically the Google Education is I've been playing a little with VO.
Yeah.
Is that available, I'm sure for a paid, but for teachers in the education packages?
So one of the things you can do is you can use one of the tools called Vids that allows teachers and students to create videos, record themselves. Really cool way to even make summaries. One of the features included there is generating videos, and you can use either VO2 or VO3 and make little 8-second clips. The cool thing is I just talked to someone recently downstairs, and we talked about how you can use little 8-second vignettes to create a whole story piece by piece with that. So like a really, really fun way to create videos and integrate them. I highly recommend making a video of a fish made out of crochet underwater. It looks super cute.
That's fun. I was experimenting with using it as a way to deliver word problems.
Yes, absolutely.
And as questions for the students.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to do that too. I think of it a lot of times about how I can use this as another way to summarize the content I've used, right? And I can both, with Vids, I can both record myself with my video and speaking, or I can have the voice be generated by AI. So if I'm a little camera shy, which I'm not, then you can actually have it all generated in there for you.
That sounds great. All right, thank you, Mateos. Where can people learn more about Forward Edge, what Forward Edge is doing, and what Google will be announcing?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely keep up with all of the Google blogs to make sure you know everything what's coming up and what's new. If you want to learn a little bit more about Forward Edge, I do personally an AI cohort for different school districts. I teach AI literacy. If you want to learn more about that, click on forward-edge.net/AI-training, and you can learn all about our AI training options for literacy. So I teach pretty much anything from what is AI to the ethical uses and to the use cases, including all the tools that your district might be considering to use or maybe already has. And so, yeah, we try to keep it very personalized, and it's a really cool program. So check that out.
Very good. We'll put links in the description. And thank you very much. I appreciate it. Be blessed. So I love talking to Mateos, and he's really an interesting person to talk to. We'll put his information in the description of all these companies as well. But I think as a teacher who uses a lot of Google tools but doesn't use Google Classroom, I'm excited to try that out. I'm interested also in trying the student AI stuff. I'm a little hesitant, and you might have gotten that. AI is something that I feel like does need to be delivered to the students in the right way. And I think that changes every few months. So I can't make a declarative statement on how that is, except that being able to be controlled by the school and the teacher is very important. And right now, the student that I asked in the session, I didn't ask in the interview, but the student AI tools are either on or off by the administrator. And so it's not an easy just like, hey, turn it on for this class period. All right, now let's turn it off. Or let's, do this tool real quick and then that tool. I'm excited to try and play with that, but it might be a little time until the teachers get a little more control over it before we roll that out. But I'm interested to see how that conversation evolves. I am excited to have my students try Notebook LM. He talked about using VO in Google Vids. I tried that yesterday. I couldn't figure that out. Maybe it's something we need to enable on our side. But if my students can have access to VO, I'm excited to try that, Aaron. I've been thinking about this lesson. I want to talk about that real quick. One of the things that I teach this coming year is a film class that we make documentaries and short film. And I focus a lot on helping my students understand what good storytelling is, because that is way more key than your hardware. We spend a lot of time on hardware and lighting and all the technical side, but if you don't have a good story, it doesn't matter. And so last time I used AI tools to kind of have the AI write scripts that we could then tear apart. And I'm kind of hoping that I can use Google Vids for us to, before we film anything, create a story using AI to play around with storytelling and have them play with that as kind of an exercise. And maybe we'll come up with something cool. I'm going to try and share it with you guys later if we create something cool.
All right, so hey, like so many of these other companies, we have another video shout out here because we did a lesson planning throwdown where Desmond already tried and used VO as part of that throwdown. So if you want to see some entertainment and also understand the value that these products can potentially bring you to your lesson planning experience, check out that episode. And Desmond, hey, as we wrap up here, what is your key takeaway? If you could distill it down to one thing that you take away from ISTE Live 2025, what would that be?
There's so many things that I could talk about, but what I'm going to narrow in on is kind of what was the conversation. And this is just my read on it. Whenever I go to a convention, I'm really curious to find out, like, what is the conversation from the companies, from the teachers, from the different people? What is the conversation? When we went to FETC a couple years ago, it was like AI, just like, it was like a tidal wave of AI. And at that time, like, Magic School and School AI had these tiny little booths. They might have launched at that event. It was a single table with like one or two people. Like, we talked to them, but it was very early, very interesting. But it was just like, AI is here, and it was a tidal wave. And now Magic School and all the big ones, School AI, have these big booths with tons of people there, and AI is just in everything. But I felt like the conversation was more nuanced of like, well, how does this help me in the classroom? How does it, help me engage with my students or grade or do these things? And I got a temperature, and I don't know, this is more of a temperature. It almost felt like not everyone was sure on the teacher side, do I want all this AI in my classroom? I'm being told I have to have it or I should have it, but do I want it? And so I really appreciated the nuanced feel of the AI and technology. And we even heard from one of the leaders of I guess it's the leader of the AI part of ISTE, where he talked about how, it's really, what was the quote? It was a great quote. We'll have that interview later, but where the technology really is about enabling the teacher. And I'm saying that wrong. He had a better quote than I did, but that was kind of my key takeaway, I feel like, from the theme of this year.
Yeah, that relational aspect of it. And so that's a perfect segue, Desmond, because my key takeaway is, emphasizing the relationship side of things. That's what we're all about in the classroom setting. You guys know that. We really think that technology should not get in the way or take a place above relationship building with students, and it's the same with teachers. Making those connections, to me, is what these types of conventions, conferences are all about. And we had some awesome opportunities from some of our fellow podcasters. We mentioned the EdTech guys, to quite a few others that we just really enjoyed connecting with. 10-Minute Tech.
There was, Coach. With what was his podcast? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I'll say it later if I do.
Yep, Coach was there. We thank you for your time, Coach. We enjoyed meeting you, learning from you. We met some awesome podcasters all the way up from Brazil that have a massive following. They're in this EdTech space. They're crushing it. I forget the name of their podcast. We'll link to them in our show notes as well. Such a neat community there. But then on the teacher side, hey, just standing in line. We're meeting people and making connections and being enriched by. We actually met a couple of teachers from faraway Guam, if you don't know where that is, all the way, almost all the way over to Asia, right? Way Western Pacific. And a couple teachers from the Seventh-day Adventist school system, they're attending. We were able to stop, talk, and Desmond even had a prayer with them. It was a super neat connection, a really special time. So I think we have a picture. Maybe we can drop that here and recognize them. But it's about those human connections and enriching your professional life, your personal life through those relationships.
And we want to thank you for joining us today as we journeyed into EdTech, and we looked at what happened at ISTE this year and some of the key takeaways. And we hope that you enjoyed this journey.
Hey, send your EdTech problems to be solved to our help desk. Along with any feedback, you can do that at our website, edtechunpacked.com, but you can also connect with us over social media, and we're trying to do a better job because we're realizing, hey, man, what an active community on spaces like Instagram. So we have a brand new Instagram. We're trying to post regular content, shorts, and more consumable content for your on-the-go busy life. That's also a place to drop us a line, connect with us. Facebook, at the time of this recording, is brand new, but we now have a Facebook, and of course we're on Blue Sky and X. Pretty much everywhere, it's just EdTech Unpacked, so check out that handle and connect with us on social media.
And please, in the comments below, leave a comment about your key takeaways. If you attended ISTE or have attended a conference recently, what are your key takeaways from attending EdTech conferences that we can share with each other? And as always, we want to leave you with a blessing. And we just think that you're an incredible teacher, and these tools can be overwhelming. You watch our last episode and this episode together, and you will think that you are just poor without any tools or not using what you should. And a lot of these have free things you can try, but don't use them all. Like, you can't. Quite frankly, I think you'd be an ineffective teacher if you used anywhere close to all of these tools. And we only sampled some of them. There's way more than we are able to tell you about. And don't feel like you have to do them all. Find the tools that are effective for what you're teaching and ignore the others. You might be missing out on a great tool. That's okay. If you spend all the time, like I want to, using all the new stuff and evaluating it, it'll get in the way of your instruction. It'll get in the way of your students. But find a few that sound interesting, test them out, and see if they can enhance the way you get to teach your students. And we know that God has placed you where He has for a purpose, and we pray that you are blessed.
And remember, there's no substitute for great teaching. It's not just about the tools and technology you use, but how you foster meaningful relationships with your students to transform their lives. We'll see you next time.